When you hear the word glory, you probably picture something beautiful, a golden haze, a shaft of light breaking through the clouds, something that brings a sense of comfort. The ancient writers who first recorded that word would have found that image completely backward. In the original Hebrew text, the word translated as glory is kavod. Its root does not mean anything that shines. It means heavy, substantial. A stone is kavod. A physical burden is kavod. The presence of God was a gravity to be endured. When the Israelites stood at the base of Mount Sinai, they didn't gaze at a light show. The ground shook, the mountain burned, and the people backed away, terrified they would be crushed by the sheer pressure of hearing a divine voice. This poses the central crisis of the entire biblical story. If the presence of the Creator is that impossibly heavy, how does a fragile, finite human being stand in the same space and survive? The ancients understood that a direct encounter with that kind of weight meant certain death. Something physical had to absorb the impact before it reached the people. This diagram outlines the true mechanics of the tabernacle. It operated as an elaborate, highly engineered containment system built specifically to hold a lethal presence. Every material, the acacia wood, the woven linen, the exact measurements of the gold overlays, was specified with absolute mathematical precision. These components were required to keep the divine weight from tearing straight through the fabric of reality. Early religious practice was a matter of physical survival. It required meticulously maintaining an architectural boundary strong enough to keep humanity from being annihilated by the proximity of their own creator. To build a system that precise, you need a different kind of mathematics. In the ancient Near East, numbers were the underlying blueprints of reality itself. The number 3 represents the relational completeness of the divine. The number 4 represents the physical, created earth, the 4 winds, the 4 compass directions. When you multiply those dimensions together, you get 12. 12 is the mathematical point where divine reality intersects with the physical world to form a concrete, governed community. Surrounding this entire structure is the number 7. 7 serves as the seal of holy completeness, the finishing dimension required for any divine architecture to be permanently set apart. The 12 tribes of Israel, the 12 apostles, the 7 days of creation serve a highly specific function. They are the load-bearing mathematical scaffolding required to safely hold the crushing weight of God on earth. A severe structural flaw remained in this plan. Even with perfect mathematical architecture and flawless materials, human flesh was entirely too weak to withstand the pressure. When the tabernacle was finally finished and the divine weight descended, the space became completely uninhabitable. Moses, the very man who had spoken to God and mediated the law, could not step foot inside. Centuries later, the prophet Ezekiel watched this structural failure reach its terrifying conclusion. He saw a vision of the heavy presence of God lifting up, abandoning the mathematically perfect temple, and moving away toward the east. The building remained standing, and the priests kept working. They carried out their procedures and maintained the relics, completely unaware that they were servicing an empty shell. The containment system failed. Human institutions and perfect procedures cannot hold God because humanity itself had become hollowed out by sin. We had become too light to bear the presence we were originally built to carry. The wandering weight of God did not return to a stone temple. It continued eastward, moving deliberately toward a broken and exiled people. Eventually, that presence entered a human body, a body specifically engineered of flesh and blood to absorb the infinite gravity of the Kavod. Jesus carried the accumulated weight of humanity's failures. He absorbed the pressure of every violation and every broken covenant, holding it until his physical body finally broke on a wooden cross. At the exact moment he died, the heavy curtain inside the temple tore straight down the middle. The ancient containment system was rendered permanently obsolete. The breaking of that physical body was the only mechanism capable of releasing the uncontained weight of God into the world without destroying humanity in the process. The release of that weight brings us to the ultimate result of the torn veil, a concept known in Hebrew as shalom. Modern English translates shalom as peace, suggesting a quiet, calm feeling. The ancient legal root of the word demands active restitution. It requires the complete physical restoration of exactly what was stolen or broken. The divine spirit is given to humanity today to actively reweigh the human soul. It thickens us, making us heavy enough to finally hold the Kavod. You were never created to be light, comfortable, or empty. You were built to carry the crushing, infinite weight